You need a profound, quiet reset in the middle of nowhere. But there's a catch. You're completely burned out, and the idea of packing a 60-pound bag to hike into the wilderness sounds exhausting. You just want the world to stop completely. We usually treat national park trips like endurance events. You wake up at dawn, fight for parking, sweat up a mountain just to see the view. But look at this chart comparing the average miles hiked per day in Yosemite and Zion versus a Death Valley drive-up itinerary. While traditional parks demand heavy mileage, a fully optimized Death Valley loop requires less than 2 miles of walking. That sounds backwards, considering the park's reputation. We picture the Mojave Desert as a harsh, unforgiving wasteland where only survivalists venture. Tourism marketing leans heavily into the extreme heat and rugged isolation. It creates an artificial barrier to entry, making you think you need to be an elite athlete to survive a visit. Using the Nevada border as your anchor puts North America's most striking landscapes within reach of a car door. Real mental recovery comes from removing physical barriers. Here, the desert serves as a high-yield visual asset that requires no athletic entry fee. To pull this off, you need the right starting point. That brings us to Pahrump, Nevada. Look at this map. Pahrump sits directly in the center of a geographic hub. You are exactly 60 miles from Death Valley, 30 miles from the Ash Meadows wetlands, and a quick drive up to the Rhyolite ghost town. To evaluate options from this base camp, we use a framework, aesthetic return on investment. We plot physical effort on the horizontal axis and visual impact on the vertical axis. Every stop must land in the top left corner, maximum visual reward for minimum calorie burn. Filtering for these specific locations turns a grueling, exhausting expedition into a profoundly restorative, high-yield recovery weekend. We apply this filter first to the massive scale of Death Valley itself. You can experience the park's highest vantage point at Dante's View or navigate the twisting 9-mile loop of Artist's Drive entirely from the driver's seat. The reward is immediate. You get 50-mile views of the basin and close-ups of mineral-stained volcanic hills, all without stepping off the pavement. There is a clear trade-off here. Driving to these epic viewpoints means you are sharing them. You trade deep wilderness solitude for guardrails and parking lots. The same goes for the valley floor. You can stand at the lowest point in North America at -282 feet at Badwater Basin, or walk up the gentle paved incline at Zabriskie Point. From there, you look out over miles of rippling, golden badlands that look like they belong on another planet. Because the access is so easy, you will not be alone. These are the park's main arteries, and they draw heavy traffic. Your best countermeasure is to trade sleep for space. By arriving at sunrise, you bypass the tour buses and avoid the intense midday temperatures. The panoramas deliver unmatched geological scale, provided you accept a highly curated, communal viewing experience over rugged isolation. Our second category takes us out of the main park and just 30 miles from our Pahrump base camp, the desert oases. The physical requirement here is identical. You drive in, park, and take a flat stroll along the elevated boardwalks of Ash Meadows or the date groves at China Ranch. The environment shifts abruptly. Instead of salt flats, you find deep shade, rare wildlife like the pupfish, and crystal-clear wetlands bubbling up right through the arid valley floor. The trade-off here is a matter of scale. These micro-ecosystems offer a subtle, educational experience compared to the imposing scale of the mountains. After the blinding white salt flats and vast open spaces, these oases serve as essential sensory palate cleansers, giving your eyes and your body a break from the extremes. The final category targets the human history of the region, the eccentric desert ruins and ghost towns. Again, the exertion is minimal. You take short, level walks through the remains of the Rhyolite ghost town or the abandoned art installations at Cathedral Canyon. The visual reward is distinct. You get highly textured, highly photogenic subjects, from houses built entirely of glass bottles to the decaying architecture of a multi-story concrete bank standing alone in the brush. The trade-off comes down to infrastructure. These are unregulated historical sites. There is no shade, no polished visitor center, and no pristine nature to admire. It is a raw, deteriorating aesthetic that won't appeal to everyone. For photographers or history enthusiasts, These ruins deliver a high density of fascinating subjects, completely free of the physical tax and red tape of the traditional park hike. Let's check the scorecard across 3 traveler profiles. For a burnt-out professional needing a mental reset, or a volume photographer seeking diverse landscapes, this itinerary delivers massive visual output for near-zero strain. But for a backcountry purist, this is the wrong trip. This strategy relies heavily on paved roads and established infrastructure. To someone seeking wilderness isolation, these shared overlooks will feel unearned and crowded. The Pahrump corridor allows for a deliberate optimization, one where you fully conserve your physical energy while maximizing your aesthetic return.